Okay, let's dive in. Consumer behavior. Wow, it feels like it's shifting at warp speed, doesn't it? And so many CPG companies, well, they feel like they're constantly playing catch up. It really raises a critical question, I think. What if the tools, the assumptions we've leaned on for decades, what if they're just not enough anymore? Today, we're doing a deep dive, really digging into this, inspired by a really insightful blog post from Denyse at C3 Centricity. She's a global expert, helps CPG companies grow, thrive even. And her piece, it cuts right to the heart of maintaining relevance when the market shifts faster than any report can track.
Yeah, it's becoming really clear that traditional market research, our old
Yeah.
North Star, it's struggling to keep pace, seriously struggling. And that leads to this fundamental disconnect, this widening gap between brands and the people they want to serve. That gap, as Denise points out so well in her deep dive, that's precisely why companies are falling behind. So our mission today, it's to explore how this AI-powered listening, it's not just another efficiency tool, right? It's actually proving to be the essential way to reignite that fundamental connection, the one that seems almost lost. And we'll be using compelling examples, hard data, straight from her work to show you how this transformation is happening.
Right. And for many CPG executives, there's this sort of uncomfortable truth starting to surface. You get to the quarterly review, look at data that's already 3 months old, and bam, consumer preferences, they've already moved on. That speed, it just outpaces the old reporting cycles. It really is like trying to predict today's weather with yesterday's forecast. You're always a step behind.
That's a perfect analogy, actually. And the data, it shows a really sobering disconnect. Get this, only 7% of U.S. online shoppers are members of a CPG brand's direct loyalty program, just 7%. Now, compare that to retailer programs where, the vast majority of people are enrolled. This isn't just some small marketing detail. It shouts, really, about a fundamental breakdown in that direct brand consumer link. It means CPG companies are, largely flying blind. They're missing those crucial real-time signals from 93% of their potential loyal customers. Just imagine the competitive edge you're losing there, simply by not having that direct line.
And this breakdown, it's happening at a really tough time. Denise's post lays out some serious pressures for 2025. More competition for shoppers, less consumer spending overall, and more pressure from retailers. You put those together. It really does sound like a perfect storm brewing for CPGs. What's the biggest wave in that storm, do you think? The one really keeping executives awake?
Well, it's definitely a confluence, isn't it? They all feed into each other. And what makes it particularly tough is that these aren't isolated things. They compound. They make those traditional reactive strategies even less effective. Consumers, they've pretty definitively rejected the old playbook, right? The one where you just keep raising prices. That sustained growth through 2023, it's over. Bain & Company's research shows it clearly. People are switching to private labels, they're waiting for deals, or they're just buying less if they see a price hike with no added value. The old ways, they're not just less effective, they're actively being pushed back against. Companies have to find new ways to stay relevant.
Okay, so if new pathways are needed, it seems strange that CPG execs are lagging on new tech adoption. The source mentions 84% of execs in other non-tech sectors see generative AI as a top 5 priority. 84%. But in CPG, only 37%. That's a huge gap. Why do you think that is? Are they just underestimating AI, or is something else going on?
That is a crucial question. And I think this hesitation links directly back to the limits of those conventional research methods. Their quarterly cycles, looking backwards. They just can't capture the speed of sentiment shifts today, or the sheer complexity of consumer behavior. It's unprecedented. McKinsey's analysis, for instance, it shows these huge differences between income groups now. Older, high-income folks driving discretionary spending, while other segments are scrutinizing every single penny. It means those traditional demographic models, the psychographics we used for decades, they feel, woefully inadequate now. It's like trying to paint a detailed picture with only 2 colors when you really need the whole palette. AI gives you that full palette.
Which brings us right to the solution then. The smarter CPG companies, they're getting it. They see AI's real power isn't just automating the old research stuff, no. It's about fundamentally reimagining how brands listen to their consumers. That sounds like a complete paradigm shift.
Absolutely. And Denise, she's seen this firsthand. She was a beta tester for ChatGPT, works with AI solutions daily in her practice. She describes watching it evolve from experimental novelty to essential consumer intelligence capability. It happened fast. And it's not just theory. The companies she works with, the ones embracing sophisticated AI listening, they are consistently outperforming the ones stuck in the old ways. The evidence is just piling up too quickly to ignore now.
And this isn't just talk, right? We're seeing big players make major moves. Let's talk about Procter Gamble, their collaboration with Harvard Business School. That sounds like a really fascinating real-world test.
Oh, it really is. The P&G study, it involved 776 employees across their commercial and R&D functions, big scale. And what they found was pretty remarkable. Teams using AI for consumer insights, they worked 12% faster than the traditional teams. But maybe even more importantly, these AI-boosted teams developed more balanced solutions that better reflected diverse consumer needs. And that was regardless of the individual team members' own expertise limits. P&G's chief R&D officer, Victor Aguilar, he put it perfectly. AI is a game changer for innovation. He stressed how AI unlocks new understanding, speeds up their relevance in the market, helping teams process feedback, social sentiment, behavioral data, all in real time. It's like a competitive sprint, and AI is giving them that crucial edge, that head start.
And P&G isn't alone here. Unilever, the European giant, is another great example of listening at scale. The source calls their setup a consumer-centric AI ecosystem, almost like a real-time consumer intelligence nervous system. That's quite a description. Over 500 AI applications deployed globally, 23,000 employees trained in AI. That's a massive strategic bet. How are they actually using all this? What's the impact on the ground?
It really shows their foresight. And yes, the results are tangible across different parts of the business. Look at their Walmart-Mexico partnership. They used AI, analyzing purchase patterns, seasonal trends, demand signals in real time. The result, over 98% on-shelf availability. And they cut inventory waste at the same time. That's not just optimizing the supply chain. That's consumer need anticipation at scale, real-time response. Or think about their ice cream division. AI systems there analyze weather data plus historical buying patterns. They predict demand 10% more accurately than the old methods. And the AI spots these microtrends, things human analysts might easily miss. If you connect the dots, Unilever shows how AI goes way beyond just efficiency. It fundamentally reshapes product relevance. They're using AI to sift their reviews, social media buzz, usage data, all to inform new product creation. There was one beverage innovation specifically mentioned they cut time to market by 60%. 60%, and got higher consumer acceptance scores than products developed the old way. It's a whole system shift, you see, not just plugging in some tech here and there.
Okay, so if this is really a strategic must-do, let's talk bottom line. Beyond the speed, beyond the better insights, what does this actually mean for a company's growth? For profitability, what are the hard financial numbers?
Well, the financial side is truly compelling. McKinsey looked at over 140 digital and AI use cases in CPG. Their analysis shows companies that successfully implement this AI-powered consumer intelligence, they can generate a pretty significant 6-10% incremental revenue uplift. And on top of that, 3 of 5 percentage points in EBITDA growth over 3 to 5 years. Now let's make that concrete. For a $10 billion food and beverage company, that translates to somewhere between $810 million and a staggering $1.6 billion in value creation. Billion with a B.
Wow. That kind of number really hammers home the urgency, doesn't it? Within that huge potential value, where are the quickest wins? Where should a company focus first to see gains?
The biggest slice of that potential pie, somewhere between $230 million or $470 million, lies specifically in customer and channel management. That's where having that real-time consumer understanding directly fuels more effective engagement, better targeting, and ultimately more sales. It's the closest link. McKinsey also estimates that generative AI, specifically in consumer understanding, could boost the economic impact of traditional AI by another 15-40%. That could unlock an additional $160 billion to $270 billion annually in profit for CPG companies globally. And it's critical to grasp this. This value isn't just from cutting costs or operational tweaks. No, it comes from superior insights, driving more relevant products, more effective marketing, smarter pricing. It's about making fundamentally better decisions faster.
Okay, so for CPG leaders listening, thinking, right, I need to do this, Denyse provides a really clear, actionable framework. Let's unpack her 6 critical capabilities. It really does feel like a blueprint for building these sophisticated listening systems.
Yes, these 6 pillars are key to regaining that direct line to the consumer. Let's quickly run through them. First, real-time sentiment analysis, moving past quarterly reports to continuous monitoring, catching shifts weeks, maybe months before the old ways would. Second, predictive consumer modeling, using AI to actually anticipate needs and preferences, sometimes before consumers even know them themselves, looking at patterns, sequences. Third, personalization at scale. This is crucial. Using AI to get granular, understand individuals, but also spot the bigger trends across segments. Mass customization, basically. Fourth, cross-channel consumer journey mapping. AI tracking and analyzing interactions everywhere. Social media, website, in-store, customer service for that true 360-degree view. Fifth, Dynamic pricing intelligence, using AI for real-time understanding of price sensitivity, moving way beyond those static old-school elasticity models. And finally, sixth, innovation signal detection, AI scanning for emerging trends, competitor moves, cultural shifts, feeding that directly into product development and brand strategy. It really begs the question, doesn't it? How deeply are you truly listening across all these dimensions today?
It's so clear that getting this right is about much more than just buying software. It needs a fundamental organizational transformation. Companies have to shift from those occasional insight reviews to weaving continuous consumer intelligence into everything, every decision. That's a massive change in how a company operates day to day.
It absolutely is. And Unilever's approach, it offers a great blueprint here. They have this comprehensive AI assurance process. Think of it as an internal review board. It vets proposed consumer intelligence applications, makes sure the insights are actionable, sure, but also ethically sourced and genuinely aligned with business goals. They use cross-functional teams, subject matter experts, to rigorously check these initiatives before they roll out. This ensures insights actually lead to strategic advantage, not just, more data floating around.
And the blog post talks about assetizing these insights, like packaging the AI-generated understanding into reusable blocks of intelligence. It even mentions creating consumer insight APIs, basically on-demand data feeds that teams anywhere in the company can tap into in real time. That sounds incredibly powerful for getting insights out of silos and into the hands of people making decisions.
It is powerful. And look, the evidence is just unequivocal at this point. CPG companies mastering this AI-powered listening, they will dramatically outperform the ones sticking to traditional methods. That gap between consumer reality and brand perception, it's widening every day, making superior listening not just a nice-to-have, but a genuine survival requirement.
Denyse points out the 12% productivity advantage AI teams get. It's more than just efficiency. It's the speed needed to stay connected with consumers whose minds, preferences, loyalties are changing faster than ever before. What's fascinating here is that this isn't just some passing trend. It really feels like an inflection point where mastering consumer listening will define who's relevant for the next decade. She's seen it working with executives in, 128 countries? The successful companies, they apply the same strategic discipline to AI listening as they do to a major brand launch. They recognize its foundational importance.
And that really circles back to the core message from Denyse's post, doesn't it? This transformation. It isn't just about getting better data, is it? It's truly about rebuilding that essential connection, that link between brands and consumers that actually drives sustainable growth in the long run. And the company's moving first, moving fast. They're already pulling ahead. They're not just gaining an edge. They're kind of redefining relevance in this new market.
Precisely. So the question remaining for every CPG leader listening is pretty stark. Will you join them? Or will you watch your consumer relevance slowly fade while your competitors listen smarter and act faster?
That really is the critical choice facing CPG leaders right now. Look, if you're aiming to reignite momentum, whether in your career or for your whole company, through genuinely deeper consumer understanding, well, you should connect with the experts driving this conversation. Definitely subscribe to The Deep Dive for more insights on crucial topics just like this one. And for all of you in the CPG space, seriously, head over to c3centricity.com. Explore Denyse's work, get more ideas. And honestly, if you're a CPG leader ready to make a change, think about booking that free business makeover session directly with Denyse and her team. It could be transformative. This deep dive really underscored how vital it is to get ahead of this curve, to forge those new, authentic connections. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we look forward to unpacking more fascinating topics with you next time.